7. Life-changing practices of modern Stoicism to be more valued. A. 7 strategies to become a priority in the eyes of others. In a world where we're constantly juggling personal, professional and social demands, it's easy to feel overlooked or undervalued by others. Stoic philosophy offers us powerful tools to help us regain control of our value in relationships. By following these 7 strategies, we not only elevate our own self-worth, but also command respect from those around us. Let's dive into the first key strategy: creating the fear of loss. At Stoic Secrets, we dive deep into the principles of Stoicism to help you understand how to navigate relationships with wisdom and authenticity. It's not about tricks or manipulation. It's about embodying the core teachings of Stoic philosophy to create lasting, high-value connections. Join us as we explore how to apply these Stoic secrets to become a priority in the lives of those you care about. 1. Create the fear of loss. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel like we must always be available to everyone. But what if I told you that becoming more valued, both in your personal and professional life, depends on creating a sense of absence? It might sound strange, but there's real wisdom in this idea. Stoicism, one of the oldest philosophies, teaches us that while we can't control everything around us, we can control how we respond. One of the Stoic secrets to mastering your presence is creating the fear of loss. When you're always available, people take your time for granted. They don't value you as much because your presence is constant and predictable. But when you learn to say no, you force others to appreciate what you offer. Think about it. Have you ever missed someone's company and realized how much you valued them when they weren't around? That absence creates a longing to reconnect. Similarly, when you step back from being always accessible, people start realizing how much they need you, which increases your value. Saying no can feel uncomfortable at first. We're often conditioned to please others or to think we must always be there for them. But as the Stoics remind us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. The discomfort you feel when setting boundaries is often worse in your mind than in practice. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more respect you'll earn from others. People will start valuing your time because they see it's not freely given, but rather precious. Think of a moment when you felt your time was wasted but didn't speak up. What if you had set a boundary then? The respect you would have gained from asserting your time and energy is a key Stoic lesson. Master your reactions and create value by learning to say no. In doing so, you not only become more valuable, but also teach others to treat you with respect. This small change can be life-changing. In a world that constantly demands more, learning the power of absence is a modern Stoic practice that can radically shift how others see you. It's not about being distant, it's about protecting your time, so when you do show up, you do so with focus, energy, and attention. This makes you more valuable to others. Isn't that what we all want? To be truly valued. It's easy to think that constant availability makes us more valuable. But ask yourself, does being always available actually make you more valuable, or is it just leading to burnout? The Stoics teach that true power comes from self-control and wisdom. By learning to say no and creating absence, you show both. So ask yourself, where in your life could you create more space? Where could you say no to make room for what truly matters? Once you practice this Stoic secret, you'll see a shift in how others respect your time, how they value you, and how you value yourself. In the end, it's about finding balance between presence and absence, availability and mystery. You don't need to be everywhere to be valuable. Instead, you need to be wise about when to show up, when to speak, and when to hold back. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Similarly, value comes not from being constantly needed, but from choosing when to be present and when to let your absence speak for you. Remember this Stoic wisdom. Learn to say no, create space, and notice how your value grows in the eyes of others and in your own eyes. Ready to start? 2. The importance of patience. Patience, as the Stoics remind us, is not simply about waiting, it's about how we wait and how we respond in the meantime. In a world where everything moves fast, where instant gratification is at our fingertips, the ability to remain composed, even when things don't go as planned, is rare and powerful. And I know it's not easy. We live in an age where the pressure to act quickly is immense, where social media, the workplace, and even our personal lives demand that we respond now to a text, to an email, to a situation. But let me ask you, when you think about the people who truly command respect in your life, are they the ones who rush into things, or are they the ones who pause, reflect, and act thoughtfully? As a Stoic, you learn that patience is not about idly sitting by or allowing things to happen to you. It's about actively choosing not to react impulsively. It's about maintaining that inner calm and composure, no matter the chaos around you. Think about how you feel when someone remains calm in a stressful situation. They seem to have an iron mind, don't they? Their ability to stay grounded amidst turmoil makes them seem more capable, more in control. And what do you think happens when you embody that same calm? People begin to notice. They start to respect you. It's as if your steadiness in the face of adversity gives them permission to be calm too. And the more you practice this, the more others will value your presence, your advice, and your friendship. The Stoics believed that we cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca's words ring true here. The urge to act in haste, to react emotionally, or to rush to solve a problem can often lead to mistakes or regrettable outcomes. In contrast, patience offers clarity. By giving yourself time to think, you allow your mind the space it needs to make better decisions. Your reactions aren't governed by stress, but by logic and understanding. In a sense, your patience becomes your power. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt a rush of emotion that led you to act before thinking? And looking back, how did that turn out? Patience, or rather the Stoic rule of keeping a clear head, helps you avoid those impulsive decisions that could hurt you or others. You might not always see immediate results from practicing patience, but over time, you will start to see a shift. People will start to view you differently. They'll turn to you for advice, seek your perspective in a crisis, and respect your ability to make calm, considered decisions. This is how patience increases your value in relationships, by making you someone others can rely on when things get tough. In modern life, patience is more important than ever. Whether it's dealing with family, work, or the unpredictable events of daily life, things rarely unfold exactly as we want them to. It's easy to fall into frustration when things don't go as planned, but if you practice patience, you'll notice a shift in how you handle life's challenges. You'll become less reactive and more thoughtful. This not only makes you more respected, but it also leads to better outcomes for you. Your patience can become a kind of armor, helping you stay strong even when others around you are losing their cool. And just like that, you develop an iron mind, a mind that remains unshaken by external events. Think about how powerful that would be, to be someone who is never rattled, someone who moves through life with purpose and poise, no matter what's happening around them. That's the essence of Stoicism, and that's how patience transforms you. The more you cultivate this quality, the more others will notice, and the more they will value you, not just for what you do, but for who you are in the midst of it all. Where in your life could you use more patience? Is there a situation where you're rushing or reacting too quickly? How might things change if you chose to pause, breathe, and respond with calm? In doing so, you'll not only build respect from those around you, but you'll also strengthen your own character, making yourself a more valuable presence in every area of your life. 3. Avoid always being present. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to feel like you must always be available to everyone, constantly saying yes to every request. But here's the thing. When you do that, others begin to take your time for granted, as if it's an endless resource. You might not realize it at first, but by being perpetually accessible, you may actually be undermining your own value. Think about it. If you're always there, always available, people stop appreciating you. Your presence becomes expected, even predictable. The Stoic secrets of creating space and practicing absence can be truly life-changing. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the importance of being deliberate with our time. He said, "Time is a river of the past," reminding us that we cannot afford to squander it. By learning to say no, or at least to decline requests thoughtfully, you send a message that your time is valuable. It's not about being rude or cold. It's about drawing healthy boundaries and showing yourself the respect you deserve. As you practice this, you'll notice a powerful shift in how people respond to you. They begin to respect your boundaries, your space, and your time. This doesn't just apply to your professional life, but also to personal relationships. How many times have you found yourself drained by being too available to others? How did it feel? It's time to reflect on the Stoic principles that teach us that sometimes absence can create longing, appreciation, and respect. Just like when someone you care about goes away for a while and you realize how much you miss them, that absence can spark greater value and connection. When you decide not to be always present, people start to recognize your true worth and prioritize you accordingly. Think of this as a modern-day lesson in Stoicism. By saying no with grace, you allow your presence to be more meaningful when you do choose to show up. The lesson here is clear. Avoid being everywhere all the time. Create some space for yourself and let others understand just how important your time really is. It might feel awkward or uncomfortable at first, but as the Stoics say, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. In reality, the world won't fall apart when you decline a request or step back for a moment. Instead, you'll begin to see that people will respect you even more, valuing you not for your constant availability, but for your thoughtful, intentional presence when it counts. So, where in your life can you create more space? How can you start practicing the power of absence today? Remember, it's not about being distant. It's about recognizing your own worth and letting others do the same. Once you've made it this far, you're well on your way to discovering your true self-worth. Leave a comment saying, "I'm starting to value my self-worth," to show your commitment to practice and create space for yourself. Remember, it's not about alienating yourself. It's about knowing your worth and letting others see it too. Your journey of discovering and enhancing your self-worth has only just begun. 4. Keep some mystery about yourself. In a world where everything feels like it's laid bare, through social media, endless conversations, and the constant drive for visibility, it's easy to forget the power of mystery. But what if I told you that keeping a bit of mystery about yourself could actually increase your value, making you more respected and more intriguing to others? Think about it. When someone shares everything about themselves right off the bat, there's nothing left to discover. The layers are peeled away too soon, and suddenly the curiosity fades. But when you hold back, when you reveal just enough to spark interest without giving it all away, people are drawn in. They want to know more. They're invested in figuring you out, and that's where your power lies. Stoicism, at its core, teaches us about self-discipline, not just in terms of our actions, but in terms of what we reveal to others. This is one of the Stoic secrets to becoming more valuable in relationships and in life. The ancient philosophers understood that too much transparency can dilute your presence. By keeping some things to yourself, you create a space of curiosity, a pull that makes people want to learn more. Think about some of the most respected and admired figures in history. Do they overshare, or do they keep parts of themselves reserved, making others work to understand them? The Stoics themselves weren't overly public figures. They practiced privacy and restraint, knowing that too much exposure could lead to the erosion of their value. You might be thinking, but why should I hold back? Shouldn't I be authentic and open with everyone? I hear you, but there's a balance. The Stoic lessons here teach us that it's not about being deceptive or hiding who you are. It's about being intentional with what you share and when you share it. Not everything about you needs to be known immediately. By keeping a bit of mystery, you allow others to project their thoughts and curiosity onto you, giving them a reason to engage more deeply with you. You create an air of intrigue that invites others to pay closer attention. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean you should be secretive or manipulative. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. Instead, it's about understanding that self-discipline includes managing how and when you reveal parts of yourself. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." By holding back and letting people learn about you gradually, you give them the space to form their own impressions and respect you more. After all, isn't it true that the more we work for something, the more we value it? When you don't just hand people the whole story, they will seek to understand the complexities of who you are. And that is what will make you more valuable in their eyes. In modern life, this approach is more critical than ever. We live in a world where oversharing has become the norm, on social media, in our personal conversations, and even in professional environments. But ask yourself, how often have you found yourself tuning out someone who seems to reveal everything all at once? We all crave mystery, and we all appreciate the moments when someone leaves us wondering just a little bit more about them. When you practice this restraint, you become someone others want to engage with. They'll respect you more because you've made them work for your attention. And that work, whether it's a deeper conversation, a second date, or a meaningful connection at work, translates into increased value. Think about your own experiences. When someone has kept a bit of mystery about themselves, did it draw you in? Did you want to know more about them, their story, their motivations? Now, imagine the impact you could have on others by exercising this same discipline. By giving them just enough of yourself, you ignite their curiosity and keep them coming back for more. It's a subtle but powerful way to command respect and attention. As the Stoics would remind us, the key to building value in relationships and life is understanding what to reveal and when. And by keeping some mystery about yourself, you elevate your presence, making yourself someone others look up to and seek out. When you start to create a little distance between yourself and others' expectations, you'll be surprised at how much more respect and intrigue you receive in return. By mastering this Stoic practice, you'll not only become more valuable to others, But you'll also find that you're respecting yourself more by holding back just enough to keep people wanting to know more. How will you start today? 5. Allow others to invest in you. One of the most powerful lessons you can learn, both in life and in relationships, is the importance of allowing others to invest in you. It might sound counterintuitive at first. After all, many of us have been raised to believe that we should be independent, self-sufficient, and always the one offering help. But what if I told you that in order to be truly valued, you need to open yourself up to receiving help, opinions, and contributions from others? By doing this, you create not just a transactional relationship, but a meaningful, authentic connection that deepens mutual respect and understanding. This isn't just about asking for favors or expecting handouts. It's about building a relationship where both parties share, grow, and invest in one another. Think about it for a moment. When someone asks for your advice or help, doesn't it make you feel more connected to them? It's a way of showing that they value you, trust your judgment, and see you as a person whose contributions matter. The Stoic rules teach us that we are not isolated beings, but interdependent ones. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees, Marcus Aurelius wrote. In other words, the strength of a community, of any relationship, comes from mutual investment. If you're always the one giving, always the one standing strong, you miss out on the opportunity to deepen those connections. And when you refuse to let others help or contribute, you may inadvertently shut yourself off from the very kind of bonds that lead to lasting value and respect. There's something incredibly humbling, yet powerful, about allowing others to invest in you. Whether it's accepting a thoughtful piece of advice, letting someone lend a hand when you're struggling, or simply acknowledging someone's contributions to your life, you open the door to a deeper, more authentic relationship. Stoicism doesn't encourage complete independence or isolation. It teaches that strength comes from acknowledging our interdependence, from recognizing that we're all part of a greater whole. As Epictetus wisely noted, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. By letting others help you, you're not diminishing your strength. You're acknowledging the strength of those around you and building something greater together. In today's world, where we often feel pressured to do it all or be everything, it's easy to forget that relationships are a two-way street. But when you allow others to contribute, you don't just gain their help, you gain their respect. People admire someone who has the humility to accept help, who doesn't need to carry the weight of the world alone. And the more you practice this, the more you'll notice how your relationships shift. Instead of seeing others as mere supporters or bystanders, you'll begin to see them as essential partners in your journey. This, in turn, makes you more valuable to them, as they'll respect you for the way you foster connection and growth. It's not always easy to let down that guard, especially if you've been conditioned to believe that asking for help is a weakness. But think about this. Who are the people you most respect? Are they the ones who never need help, or are they the ones who know how to ask for it when needed? When you allow someone else to invest in you, you create a sense of shared responsibility and growth that goes beyond mere exchange. It becomes a partnership, built on trust, respect, and mutual benefit. This, my friend, is the foundation of long-lasting value in relationships. Consider how you can open up and allow others to invest in you. Whether it's accepting advice, letting someone lend a helping hand, or simply acknowledging the contributions of others, each instance you allow someone to contribute is a chance to strengthen the bonds between you and deepen the respect they have for you. By receiving, you aren't diminishing your worth. Instead, you're showing that you value the efforts and insights of those around you. This approach creates more meaningful connections, ones that not only increase your value in others' eyes, but also enrich your life in ways you may not have anticipated. When you embrace mutual respect and interdependence in your relationships, you foster stronger, more authentic connections that serve to enhance both your life and the lives of those around you. 6. Prioritize your own needs. One of the most important lessons I've learned, and one that I want to share with you, is that prioritizing your own needs isn't selfish, it's essential. I know, it can feel uncomfortable at first. We often think that in order to be valuable to others, we must constantly give and sacrifice for them, putting their needs ahead of our own. But here's the truth. If you're always giving and never taking the time to care for yourself, you'll eventually be taken for granted, and worse, disrespected. This is where the Stoic secrets of self-respect and personal boundaries come into play. Stoicism teaches us a powerful principle that if you want to be truly valuable to others, you first have to honor and respect your own needs, your own limits, and your own well-being. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that, "Take care not to be driven by the things you desire, and to be discontented by what you lack." You see, when we fail to set healthy boundaries and respect our own limits, we are driven not by our values, but by a fear of letting others down or being rejected. In the process, we lose sight of what truly matters, our own peace and self-worth. I want to share a story that illustrates this. A close friend of mine, let's call him Tom, is someone who always put the needs of his friends and family ahead of his own. At first, it seemed admirable. He'd always be the one to help, to listen, to drop everything when someone needed him. But over time, Tom started to feel drained, undervalued, and even resentful. He never took the time to recharge, never gave himself space to focus on his own growth, and eventually he became so overwhelmed that he couldn't show up for anyone, including himself. It wasn't until he started applying the Stoic principles, setting clear boundaries and learning to prioritize his own well-being, that he was able to restore his sense of value, not just for others, but for himself. What do you think would happen if you made time for your own needs in the same way? Would it not allow you to show up even more powerfully in your relationships? By honoring your own boundaries, you are not only safeguarding your mental and physical health, but also ensuring that you are genuinely available and present for others in a way that is sustainable and authentic. If you constantly sacrifice your own well-being for others, you'll eventually find that people don't recognize your boundaries. They'll start expecting more from you, and over time, that can lead to burnout and resentment. Instead, by acknowledging and meeting your own needs, you send a clear message that you value yourself, and in turn, others will respect you more. It's a powerful way to foster genuine, healthy relationships. Marcus Aurelius again offers wisdom here. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This applies to your boundaries as well. If something feels wrong for you, if it stretches you beyond your limits or makes you uncomfortable, then it's important to honor that feeling and make a choice that aligns with your values. How often do you say yes to requests when you know your plate is already full? How often do you push yourself to the brink for others, leaving your own needs unmet? What would happen if you started saying no when necessary and yes only to things that align with your values and well-being? If you practice this, you'll find that you have more energy, more focus, and more clarity, qualities that make you even more valuable to the people who matter. The more you practice honoring your own needs, the more others will recognize your strength and value. You become someone who is reliable, not because you're always available, but because you know when to show up and when to step back. You become a person whose presence is truly valued, not taken for granted. In your own life, start small. Set one boundary this week, whether it's carving out time for yourself or simply saying no to something that doesn't align with your needs. You'll start to see how, by valuing your own well-being, you increase your value in the eyes of others. By prioritizing your own needs, you don't just maintain balance. You enrich every relationship you're in, and you make yourself a person of true worth. 7. Don't make others the center of your life. One of the core lessons of Stoicism that can truly transform your life is the idea of not making others the center of your existence. It's tempting, isn't it? To put others on a pedestal, to live your life in the shadows of their opinions, expectations, or approval. But let me ask you, have you ever felt drained, lost, or even manipulated by focusing too much on someone else's views? If you have, you're not alone. The Stoic secrets, passed down through thousands of years, teach us something crucial about living with integrity and purpose. They remind us that when you place others above your own values, you not only lose yourself, you lose your power. Imagine for a moment that your identity is like a ship on a vast ocean. If your ship is constantly being pushed around by the winds of others' opinions or the waves of their desires, you'll never find your course. You'll be tossed to and fro, always reacting, never steering your own life. In modern life, this is what happens when we sacrifice our own needs, goals, or beliefs just to gain someone else's approval. It's easy to do, especially when we crave acceptance. But deep down, do you really feel valued when you lose yourself in the process? I've realized over the years that it's vital to keep a firm grip on the wheel of your life and steer it according to your values, your goals, and your principles. In Stoic lessons, we are taught that we have the power to choose what we focus on, and that includes who or what we make central to our existence. The key is not to let others define your worth or your direction. Instead, make yourself the center of your life. Live according to what you believe is right, even when it's hard. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. By placing yourself at the center, you're not being selfish or self-centered. Rather, you are taking responsibility for your life, your happiness, your well-being, and your peace of mind." This shift in focus will not only make you more grounded, but will naturally attract respect and admiration from others. People gravitate toward those who live with clarity and purpose. When you live authentically, you exude a quiet confidence that others can't help but respect. The Stoics didn't shy away from hard truths. They understood that life isn't about pleasing others or seeking external validation. It's about living virtuously, in line with our own reason, regardless of outside approval. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-king, put it, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Now let me ask you, how much of your energy do you devote to living up to others' expectations, and how much of that is truly aligned with who you are deep down? We've all been there, struggling to be the person others want us to be, sacrificing our peace just to gain their approval. But what if instead you focused on becoming the person you were meant to be? What would change in your life if you stopped bending your will to others and stood firm in your own sense of purpose? Would you be more confident, more peaceful, more valued? I believe you would. By turning the focus inward, you open yourself to a new kind of freedom. A freedom that comes from the understanding that you have the ability to decide who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. As you embrace this Stoic principle, you will find that the more authentic you become, the more others will naturally appreciate your presence, not because you're trying to please them, but because you are simply being the best version of yourself. It's time to stop letting others dictate your value. You are the captain of your own ship, and the winds of others' opinions should no longer be your guide. You have the power to shape your own identity, and through the practice of modern Stoicism, you can steer your life with purpose, direction, and clarity. So I ask you once more, are you ready to take charge of your life, to center yourself, and to live in alignment with your true values? The Stoic secrets hold the key to a life of freedom, respect, and true fulfillment. Will you open the door? Remember, the value you seek from others starts with the value you place on yourself. Live with integrity, and others will follow. In summary, the Stoic strategies we've explored, ranging from creating the fear of loss to prioritizing your own needs, are designed to help you become a person who is respected and valued by others. By applying these principles, you cultivate stronger relationships where you're treated with the importance you deserve. Remember, it's not about playing games or manipulating others. It's about respecting yourself and setting healthy boundaries. Now, let's look at more Stoic tips on how to enhance your value in relationships. Thank you for joining us today. Before we continue, I am so grateful for your presence. Have you ever felt so caught up in pleasing others that you forgot about yourself? Your feedback not only helps us improve our content, but it also helps us have meaningful conversations. Now, let's explore the next truth. B. 6 tips to enhance your value in relationships. In this section, we'll explore 6 powerful tips to increase your value in relationships. These insights are rooted in Stoic principles that emphasize self-control, clear goals, and independence. By applying these practices, you can build stronger, more meaningful connections where you're respected not just for what you do, but for who you are. 1. Live according to your core values. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned on my journey, and one I want to share with you, is the importance of living by your core values. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and forget what's truly important. We often find ourselves giving in to societal pressures or adjusting to situations that don't align with our deepest beliefs. But when you live by your core values, you not only create a life that's meaningful to you, but you also earn the respect of others. Stoic philosophy teaches us this very principle. By holding fast to your moral values, regardless of external circumstances, you build a life of integrity. As Marcus Aurelius advised, do not waste any more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be a good person. This quote captures the essence of living with purpose and consistency. Stoic principles remind us that life's challenges are opportunities to practice our values, to be honest, kind, and fair in every situation, no matter how difficult. Take the example of a friend of mine named Sarah, a successful businesswoman. Early in her career, Sarah faced a difficult ethical situation. She was offered a contract that would have significantly increased her company's profits, but would have violated her ethical principles. Sarah could have easily justified this decision, but she turned down the contract because it did not align with her values. Although it was a difficult choice, Sarah stuck to her principles. Today, she is widely respected, not only for her business success, but also for her consistency in upholding her values. Imagine how powerful your life could be if you could make such decisions every day. If you chose your values over short-term gains, over the easy path. When you do, you will become someone others trust and admire. Your actions will speak for themselves, and over time, people will begin to see you as someone they can rely on, someone whose principles guide their every decision. How do you define your core values? Are you living by them, even when the decisions are difficult? The Stoic secret lies in our ability to make difficult choices with strength and consistency, with the confidence that by living by our core values, we not only build richer lives for ourselves, but also earn the respect of those around us. 2. Practice self-control in relationships. One of the most vital practices that can transform your relationships and elevate your value in the eyes of others is the art of practicing self-control. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or becoming rigid in your behavior. Rather, it's about knowing when to be flexible and when to stand firm. Stoic rules teach us that our ability to maintain composure, especially in emotional situations, is what ultimately defines our strength and influence. Think about it. How often do you find yourself reacting impulsively, driven by fleeting emotions like anger, frustration, or even excitement? These moments can lead us to say things we regret, act impulsively, or lose control of the very respect we've worked hard to earn. But practicing self-control gives you the ability to pause, reflect, and choose how to respond rather than simply react. This level of self-mastery isn't something you're born with. It's something you cultivate over time through deliberate practice. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This simple yet profound wisdom reminds us that we have control over how we think and respond. It's not about controlling others, but about having an iron mind, one that can stay calm in the face of conflict or challenge. For example, take the case of someone who consistently lets their partner's actions dictate their mood. If their partner is upset, they become upset. If their partner is in a good mood, they mirror that. Over time, this lack of self-control creates an unstable dynamic, one where respect is easily eroded. Instead, imagine having the ability to remain centered, to not let someone else's emotional state drag you into a whirlwind. By mastering this level of self-control, you not only maintain your dignity and respect, but also inspire others to treat you with the same level of consideration. When people see you respond thoughtfully, even in moments of tension, they will start to recognize the strength behind your calm and the wisdom behind your actions. This isn't a passive way of living, but a deliberate, powerful choice to remain grounded, regardless of the circumstances. And that's where true influence lies. How often do I let my emotions drive my actions in relationships? How can I cultivate more self-control to ensure that my responses come from a place of wisdom, not impulsivity? The Stoic lessons of self-control are not only about holding your ground in difficult moments, they are about creating a foundation for lasting respect and meaningful connections. By building an iron mind, you can navigate any relationship with calm assurance, ensuring that you are respected and valued for the strength you embody. 3. Be a person with clear vision and goals. Let's talk about the power of having a clear vision and purpose in life. In today's world, it can be so easy to get caught up in the noise, the distractions, the expectations, the constant demands from others. But what if I told you that the key to becoming truly valuable in the eyes of others isn't about impressing them with accomplishments or being constantly available? It's about clarity in who you are and where you're going. This is one of the most important Stoic secrets that can transform your life. When you know exactly what you want, why you want it, and what steps you're taking to get there, you not only become a force of nature, but you also naturally attract respect. People can sense when someone is on a mission. Have you ever met someone who just seems to have it all figured out? You know they're passionate about something, they speak with conviction, and their energy is contagious. That's the kind of person who inspires others and is often highly respected. This is what the Stoics taught us. A clear and defined purpose in life is a powerful thing. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not just a call to take action despite obstacles. It's a reminder that your direction in life, your values, and your goals act as the compass that guides you through the storm. When you're clear about where you're headed, even the hardest challenges become part of the path toward your growth. The beauty of this clarity is that it not only gives you direction, it commands attention. People respect those who are unwavering in their mission. It doesn't matter whether your goal is big or small, personal or professional. What matters is that you have something you're working toward, and you're not easily distracted by the whims of others. When you have this kind of clarity, you embody the Stoic principles of discipline and focus. You set the example for others of what it means to live intentionally, and you make decisions with purpose, not based on fleeting emotions or external pressures. This is where your true value comes from. It's not about trying to please everyone or following trends. It's about standing firm in your values, knowing what you're working toward, and relentlessly pursuing that vision. I can't help but wonder, how often do you check in with yourself to see if you're still aligned with your vision? Are you living with intention, or are you letting the days slip by without purpose? The Stoic lessons are clear on this. Without a defined purpose, life can become a series of aimless events. But when you have that clarity, you carry a power that others can't help but notice. That's what makes you valuable, not just to others, but also to yourself. By knowing where you're going and why you're headed there, you naturally draw respect, admiration, and influence. What would it look like if I could focus with more intention on my vision and goals? What can I do today to move one step closer to that vision? Living with clarity is a Stoic practice that not only enriches your life, but also elevates the way others perceive you. When you know your path, you become the kind of person who is impossible to ignore. 4. Don't let emotions dictate everything. One of the most profound lessons from Stoicism is learning to control your emotions, especially when faced with major life decisions. Emotions can be powerful, and if left unchecked, they often cloud our judgment, distort our reasoning, and lead us to actions we may later regret. But imagine if you could harness these emotions instead of letting them dictate your every move. Stoic philosophy provides a framework to do just that, guiding us to rise above our emotions with clarity and control. By mastering our inner responses, we can make decisions rooted in intention, not impulsiveness. Emotions, when uncontrolled, can often lead us to act out of anger, fear, or excitement, leaving us vulnerable to regret. Think about a time when you spoke out of anger, only to wish you hadn't said those words later. Or perhaps you've held back from seizing an opportunity out of fear, only to realize much later that you missed out on something truly valuable. In these moments, it wasn't your rational mind making the decision, it was your unchecked emotions. The Stoics remind us that we are not meant to be slaves to these emotions, but instead to rise above them with a calm and clear mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most respected Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful insight means that your strength lies not in controlling what happens around you, but in controlling your response to it, especially your emotions. By acknowledging that we have authority over how we react to external events, we regain control over our lives. The Stoics didn't teach us to suppress our emotions, but to accept them without letting them control our actions. Take a moment to reflect on your last emotional reaction. What sparked it, and how did it shape your actions? Was it driven by anger, frustration, or fear? The key to Stoic practice is to pause and assess whether that emotion should guide your next decision. Would your response have been different if you had approached the situation with a calm, thoughtful mind instead of a reactionary one? When you respond with intention rather than impulsivity, you often gain the respect and trust of others. Imagine a situation where someone reacts with anger, flaring up without thinking. It's often seen as impulsive and irrational, but if you take a moment to remain composed, whether it's in a difficult conversation or a frustrating situation, you demonstrate a higher level of self-control. People naturally respect those who can maintain calm in the face of adversity. They trust you because you don't make rash decisions, and they value your perspective because it's rooted in careful thought rather than emotional outbursts. How then can you begin to apply this Stoic lesson to your own life? It starts with cultivating awareness. Become conscious of when your emotions begin to rise and take a moment to step back before reacting. Practice this in smaller, everyday situations, whether it's a tense moment with a colleague, a traffic delay, or an unexpected change in plans. By inserting a brief pause between your emotions and your reaction, you allow your rational mind to take over. This is how you start building the habit of responding with intentionality, not impulsivity. As you practice this, you'll begin to notice how much more control you have over your life. Not only will you make better decisions, but you'll also earn more respect from others, as they will see you as someone who can be trusted to act thoughtfully and calmly. When emotions no longer dictate your actions, you align your behavior with your values and long-term goals. Rather than reacting to temporary feelings, you make decisions that reflect your true intentions. This doesn't mean denying your emotions or pretending they don't exist. Emotions are natural and part of being human. What Stoicism teaches us is to be the master of our emotions rather than their servant. It's about making a choice in how to respond to them. When you learn to pause and reflect, you can become the calm center in the storm, the person who can navigate even the most stressful situations with poise and clarity. And that's where true respect lies. People are drawn to those who can make rational, thoughtful decisions, especially when faced with emotional pressure. By practicing the Stoic principles of emotional control, you position yourself as someone not just reliable but wise. The next time you face a challenging situation, ask yourself, will you let your emotions lead you, or will you take a moment to step back, breathe, and respond with reason? The power is in your hands. When you choose to act from a place of calm rather than from an emotional reaction, you open the door to a more intentional life, one that aligns with your core values and goals. This is the essence of Stoic living, acting with purpose, not out of impulse or emotional surge. By mastering your emotional responses, you become a stronger, more respected individual, capable of navigating life's challenges with wisdom and grace. 5. Make wise decisions. One of the most impactful Stoic rules, one that can truly transform the way you approach life and your relationships, is the importance of making wise decisions. Life is filled with choices, both big and small, and each decision you make has the power to shape your future and influence how others perceive you. From personal experience, I can tell you that when you approach decisions with a calm, thoughtful, and deliberate mindset, the results are far more rewarding. Not only does it improve your own life, but it also strengthens your relationships, as people begin to see you as someone who is wise and dependable. It's easy to fall into the trap of making quick decisions, letting impulses drive you, or simply following the loudest voice in the room. However, these decisions are often hasty and can lead to regret, or worse, the breakdown of trust. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, teach us to approach each choice with clarity and reason. They urge us to look beyond the immediate consequences and weigh the long-term impact of our actions. Marcus Aurelius himself once said, Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In essence, he was telling us that wisdom isn't just about debating or theorizing, it's about taking action, grounded in careful thought. When we act with intention and wisdom, others take notice. When you make thoughtful decisions, those around you begin to trust you more. They see you as someone who considers all angles and doesn't rush into things. Your decisions become a reflection of your character, and as a result, your value increases in their eyes. This is especially important when facing pressure or emotional stress. It's easy for emotions to cloud judgment, but when you possess what the Stoics call an iron mind, a clear, focused and rational mind, you can remain unaffected by the noise and distractions. You can make decisions that not only benefit you, but also serve those around you. I've seen time and time again how people who take the time to make wise, measured decisions earn the respect and trust of others. Conversely, those who act on impulse often find themselves second-guessing their choices and dealing with the consequences later. That's not to say you'll always make the right choice. None of us can predict the future. But when your decisions are made with intention and care, people recognize that they can rely on you, and this builds trust. In our fast-paced world, where we are often expected to make immediate decisions or respond without delay, this can be challenging. Yet, I encourage you to slow down and take the time to reflect. Ask yourself, what is the wise thing to do here? What decision will best serve my long-term goals, and also consider the well-being of those around me? By practicing the Stoic principles of wisdom in decision-making, you'll start to notice remarkable changes in your life. Your relationships will deepen, your opportunities will grow, and most importantly, you'll develop a sense of self-respect and confidence. Ultimately, the wisdom in your decisions doesn't just enhance your own life, it lifts those around you. By adhering to Stoic rules and making thoughtful, wise choices, you elevate not only your life, but the lives of the people you care about. This kind of mindful decision-making leads to lasting respect and admiration, both for yourself and from those who matter most. So, the next time you face a choice, remember to apply the Stoic principles and trust that your thoughtful decisions will pave the way for a brighter, more fulfilled future. To wrap up, remember that building value in relationships isn't about seeking approval from others. It's about living with integrity, maintaining emotional control, and making wise decisions. By practicing these Stoic principles, you can become someone others truly respect and admire. Start applying these strategies today, and you'll see how they can transform not only your relationships, but also your life. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom on improving your life and relationships. The wisdom of Stoicism is truly transformative, both for your relationships and for how you perceive yourself. Take these principles to heart and watch how they reshape your interactions. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets for more insights into living a Stoic life. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.